Hello students. So in this video we are going to solve class 8 NSO exam paper from the year 2019 set A. The second set of questions which is questions 26 to 50, and like in any other videos you will learn the quickest method to solve the question. If the question has got multiple sub questions, you don't need to solve all the sub questions. The answers will also have the science fundamentals and concepts with some interesting facts and images. And these videos and courses will also help you in your class 8 science school exam. So you may want to like and subscribe to my class 8 NSO channel. So the first one, question 26. Which of the following statements is not correct? Which is not correct? So rayon is a man-made fabric obtained from wood pulp, which is correct. Polythene and PVC are thermosetting plastics, which is incorrect, isn't it? Because polythene is thermoplastic, it is not thermosetting. PVC is thermosetting, but polythene is not thermosetting, is it? It is thermoplastic, the polythene bags and all. Okay, C and D are correct because silk and cotton both are biodegradable because they are natural fibers, and acrylic is also called as synthetic wool, which is also correct. Sujata and Elena and Suhani bought new bicycles on the same day. After 2 years, whose bicycle will be in the worst condition due to rusting? So Sujata, who lives near the sea coast, her bicycle will rust more because salt water is extremely corrosive, isn't it? It promotes rusting. So you may want to look at the image of the ship here. If it is lying in the salt water, see how the salt water has done on what effect it has on the ship. Most of the ship is now corroded, is it all rusted? Salt water is the most corrosive. Question 28. In the given figure, different zones of a candle flame are marked by letters P, Q, R, and S. Which of the following statements is or are incorrect? Okay, so first one is P is the luminous zone and is the hottest part, which is incorrect because P is non-luminous zone. So zones of the candle are non-luminous, which is the oxidizing zone. The luminous region, the middle region of partial combustion, and the second, the third zone is dark inner zone, which is the dark inner zone, and innermost is the blue zone. And so into zone Q, there is inadequate supply of oxygen, which is true, isn't it? Because oxygen is at the outermost part. So in the Q, there is inadequate supply of oxygen, which is true. In zone R, it contains unburnt wax vapors produced by melting of wax, which is true, isn't it? It is the dark inner zone. It has got unburnt wax vapors produced by melting of wax. And in zone S, carbon monoxide burns with a yellow flame, which is false. It burns with a blue flame, isn't it? It burns with a blue flame. So that's why it is called a blue zone. So first is false and fourth is false. 2 and 3 are correct. Fill in the blanks by selecting an appropriate option. Vinegar plus baking soda it forms, what does it form? So it forms, so what is the equation? C2H4. So basically the equation is it forms other substances. So what are the substances it forms? It forms carbon dioxide, vinegar is acetic acid, and baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. It will form sodium acetate plus water plus carbon dioxide. So it forms carbon dioxide, isn't it? And second is turns China rose to vinegar will turn acetic acid. It will turn China rose to dark pink, isn't it? So carbon dioxide and dark pink. That is the only two that you need to solve. You don't need to solve anything else, isn't it? So carbon dioxide and dark pink. Match the articles in the column 1 with the fibers plastic from which they are made, given in column 2, and select the correct option from the given codes. Okay, so fishing nets. Fishing nets are, or we'll try the easiest one, squeezy bottles. What are squeezy bottles? They are from polythene, isn't it? Squeezy bottles. So C, is from polythene. QC bottles are polythene basically. So C is 5. That's it. You don't need to solve anything else because you have to only solve for C, which has got the unique answer. So if C is 5, you don't need to solve anything else. Which of the following statements is or are correct? In neutralization reaction, heat is always given out, which is true. Neutralization reaction, isn't it? Acid base. And then phenolphthalein remains colorless in the window cleaner solution. So window cleaner is basically base and phenolphthalein will turn bright red. So 2 is incorrect. Tooth decay is caused by presence of calcium salts, which is incorrect, isn't it? What causes tooth decay? The leftover food in the mouth, it is eaten by bacteria. They release the acid in the mouth, and that acid causes tooth decay. To dilute an acid, we should always add a water to the acid, which is incorrect. It is extremely dangerous, isn't it? So adding a water to acid will heat will be generated. It will become extremely hot and you can burn. So if you want to dilute an acid, so first take a lot of water and then in the water you add some acid. You add some acid. It will still become hot, but it will not become that hot. It will be warmish, isn't it? So you have to add acid to water. You don't have to add water to acid. So first is correct, rest all are incorrect. When air is passed through red hot coke, a gaseous fuel is produced. The name of this gaseous fuel and its composition are respectively. Okay, so when air is passed through red hot coke, carbon monoxide gas is formed. Isn't this carbon dioxide? It basically reduces to carbon monoxide when treated with red hot coke, and it's an exothermic reaction. Heat is evolved, and this carbon monoxide is called as producer gas. It's called as producer gas. Study the given table carefully and fill in the blanks by selecting an appropriate option. So solve only two, isn't it? Copper vessel exposed to moist air. Okay. What type of coating? Green coating, isn't it? Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty, most of it is made up of copper plates, is it? And because of copper plates, the rusting of copper plates, they turn green. And that's why Statue of Liberty, it looks like a green statue. And the second is aluminum foil dipped in fresh solution of sodium hydroxide. It produces a colorless, odorless gas. What is that colorless, odorless gas? It is hydrogen. And hydrogen, it burns with a pop sound. It burns with a popping sound, isn't it? So green and pop sound, that's it. You don't need to solve anything else. And how is that? How does that reaction look like? So 2 times NaOH, aluminum foil, plus 2 aluminum, plus 2 of H2O, sodium hydroxide, plus 2 aluminum, plus 2, it's a solution, isn't it? So water gives 2 times sodium aluminate, 2 NaLO2, and hydrogen gas is evolved. Given below is a list of few chemicals that are used for the protection of crops. How many of these are herbicides? In one of the earlier questions, we saw insecticides. This question is exactly opposite. You have to find the herbicides. So Delapon, Butachlor, and Simazine are herbicides. The rest all are insecticides. The given graph shows changes in various factors L, M, and N present in a water body after the sewage is discharged at point X. Okay, so sewage is discharged at point X, isn't it? Refer to the given graph and select the incorrect statement regarding L, M, and N. L could be bacteria which increase tremendously in number due to addition of sewage waste, which is true, isn't it? Some harmful bacteria, they will increase because of sewage. M corresponds to biological oxygen demand, which decreases due to accumulation of sewage in water. Now, oxygen demand does not decrease. Oxygen demand actually increases because sewage is a pollutant, isn't it? So in fish, if you basically discharge sewage in lakes or rivers and ponds, the fish will die because of less oxygen. So oxygen demand actually increases because of sewage. N could be aquatic animals like fish, which die on account of non-availability of dissolved oxygen, isn't it? So, and fish will start dying, isn't it? They will start dying. So A, basically only B is the incorrect statement. A and C are correct statement. Identify P, Q, R, and S in the given Venn diagram and select the correct option. So, what are the correct options? So, P is an earthworm which respirates through skin only, and S is a frog which respirates through skin as well as lungs. And Q is a salmon which respirates, is a fish which respirates through gills, and R is a dolphin. So even though dolphin lives in water, it respirates through lungs, and that's why dolphin has to resurface every now and then, isn't it? They jump out of the water, and that's why you can see the dolphins jumping out of the water. Match column 1 with column 2 and 3 and select the correct option from the given codes. Okay, so okay, falling sick during monsoons, and so what are the falling sick during monsoons? Dysentery, isn't it? So S is basically, C is 1 and 5, isn't it? So C is, S is dysentery, which is a protozoa. Dysentery is caused by protozoa, which is basically with contaminated water or contaminated food, isn't it? So dysentery, normally if you eat, drink outside water which is not that good from other, unclean sources, it is contaminated and you get dysentery. You get dysentery, which is stomach upset. Or you eat contaminated food. At times pani puri and all, they have contaminated water as well as the food also is contaminated by protozoa, dysentery protozoa. So you get upset stomach. So C, dysentery is because of protozoa which is contaminated water and food. So you only have to solve for S, and basically P, typhoid. So typhoid is contaminated water as well as food, which is a bacteria. Typhoid is a bacteria, typhilus. And Q, measles. Measles is basically because of virus. It is virus which is, you contract measles because of air, and measles is because of air and direct contact. Because measles which happens in children, it's because of air and direct contact. R, polio is because of contaminated water and contaminated food. Polio is again a virus because of water and food. So for all the these three diseases which are caused by bacteria and virus, they have their own vaccines, isn't it? You got a typhoid vaccine, you got a measles vaccine, you got a polio vaccine. Typhoid bacteria, measles is virus, and polio is a virus. Because of this bacteria and virus, there are vaccines. For protozoa, there is no vaccine. Isn't it? Protozoa, there is no vaccine. But for typhoid, measles, polio, which is caused by bacteria or virus, there are vaccines for that. Pihu wanted to study two different plants X and Y among many plants that were planted in her garden. She watered them regularly and took proper care of them. Both plants flowered, but after some days, Pihu noticed that only plant X yielded fruits, whereas fruit setting was absent in plant Y. What could be the probable reason for this? Okay, what is the probable reason for this? So in plant Y, the fruit setting was absent, isn't it? So what is the difference between monoecious and dioecious? Isn't it? So in monoecious, there are two types of flowers, isn't it? On the same plant. On the same plant, it can have a male flower with anthers, or it can have a female flower. In dioecious plants, either the plant is a male plant or the plant is a female plant. So this is a male plant and this is a female plant. And plant with hermaphrodite, isn't it? So plant with hermaphrodites, they have got the flowers which have both anthers as well as ovary, isn't it? So they have got anthers as well as male organ as well as the female reproductive organ. They are on the same flower, isn't it? So they are bisexual, isn't it? These hermaphrodite flowers are bisexual flowers. So example, sunflower or lily or rose, they don't have any fruits. They are bisexual flowers. They may have fruits which are hidden, like this rose plant. They have got this small berry-like structure, which are fruit, which are hidden, isn't it? So plant X, it bears unisexual male flowers. So X is basically unisexual male flowers, whereas plant Y bears bisexual flowers like sunflower or lily or rose. They are bisexual flowers where the fruit setting is actually hidden. It is not totally absent, it is basically hidden. The given figure shows positions of few endocrine glands in human body. Two patients, Karan and Ali, recently visited an endocrinologist regarding their health issues. Doctor examined them and prepared a chart shown here to keep a record of their illness and monitor their health. Karan has got swollen neck. Is it swollen neck is because of goiter? Isn't goiter is swollen forehead and lack of thyroxine, isn't it? And Ali has got large quantity of sugar in his blood and urine, which is diabetes. So diabetes is lack of secretion of insulin by pancreas, isn't it? So A is correct. Karan is suffering from goiter, which is due to hyposecretion of thyroxine by thyroid gland, and B is early suffering from diabetes, which is caused by hyposecretion of insulin by pancreas, isn't it? So A and B are correct. C is incorrect. Albinism is not caused by gland P and all. So C is incorrect. Study the given flowchart and select the option that correctly identifies X and Y. Okay, so X begonia is basically it propagates vegetatively by leaves. Isn't it? Begonia leaf. If you just cut the leaf and put that in the soil, it will basically new leaves will sprout out of that. So vegetative propagation by leaf, isn't it? And asparagus is basically propagates by roots, isn't it? The roots, they will basically, one root will form a new asparagus and that will generate more roots, and then that those roots will form another asparagus. So vegetative, it propagates vegetatively by roots is asparagus and by leaf is begonia. Identify the parts labeled P to T in the given figure and select the correct statement regarding them. So this is the urinary and reproductive system of in males, isn't it? So S is the urinary bladder which stores the urine. R is the urethra or urinary tract from which the urine also passes, and the sperm also passes. And P is the testicle. This is the testicle, and Q is the epididymis. Epididymis. Q is the epididymis, and T is the scrotum. The scrotum is the sac which holds the testicle and the other organs, isn't it? So male gametes are produced by testes and androgen is produced by testicles as well, isn't it? So which are the correct statement? The part P uh, labeled P, it produces male gametes, and part labeled S produces androgen. So as urinary bladder, it does not produce androgen. So A is incorrect. The sperms collect and mature in part R. No, the sperms don't collect in part R, which is the urethra. The sperms collect and mature in epididymis, isn't it? The parts P and R have no role in reproduction. Absolutely false, isn't it? So P and R have role in reproduction, where the sperms are formed, and R is where the sperms are released, isn't it? So they do have role in reproduction. And the part T is located outside the abdominal cavity and protects P and Q inside it. So part T, yes, it is located outside the abdominal cavity and protects parts P and Q, isn't it? It protects the testis and the epididymis. So the scrotum will protect it. Okay. So D is the correct option. All the other options are incorrect. Refer to the given table and select the correct statement regarding plants P, Q, and R. Okay. So what are these plants? P could be Nepenthes. So P is Nepenthes, the pitcher plant, isn't it? So it grows in nitrogen deficient soil. And Q could be Cuscuta. Q is leafless and rootless, which is Cuscuta, isn't it? So normally if you see on Mendi, this yellow straw-like structure, noodle-like structure, yellow noodle-like structure, which is Cuscuta, is it's a parasite, which is leafless and rootless, and it will basically kill the host plant. Cuscuta will kill the host plant. Refer to the given food web. Okay. So what is the food web? It starts with the pine tree. Then pine borer will eat the pine tree, and then golden crowned kinglet will eat the pine borer, and then snake will eat the golden crowned kinglet, isn't it? So if a non-biodegradable insecticide known as DDT was sprayed onto the pine tree, which of the following organisms will most of the DDT eventually accumulate? in which organisms the DDT will eventually accumulate. Okay, so you spray DDT onto pine tree, which is a non-biodegradable insecticide. So which organism will be affected the most? Pine borer, is it? So pine borer will have DDT, then it will go to kinglet, and then snake will basically eat the kinglet. So snake will have DDT. Or a pine DDT is on the pine tree. The pine borer will eat the DDT. It will salamander will eat the pine borer, and then snake will eat the salamander. So again, snake will have the maximum of DDT, isn't it? Refer to the given paragraph where few words have been italicized. Hormones produced by organs are called endocrine glands. These are ductless glands. Very small quantity of different hormones is required by our body. Thyroxine is secreted when we are stressed or excited. Liver regulates the sugar metabolism in the body by hormone insulin. Pituitary gland secretes melatonin, while parathyroid gland secrete calcitonin. Isn't it? So select the incorrect option. Thyroxine should be replaced by adrenaline. This is correct, isn't it? So thyroxine is secreted when we are stressed or excited, which is false. Adrenaline is secreted when we are stressed or excited, isn't it? Adrenaline is something which is there in the excited state. Liver should be replaced by pancreas, which is true, isn't it? Because insulin is secreted by pancreas. Pituitary gland should be replaced by pineal, isn't it? So pineal gland, it secretes melatonin. It is not the pituitary gland, isn't it? And positions of pituitary and parathyroid should not be interchanged. So pituitary secretes melatonin is false, isn't it? So pineal glands secretes melatonin. So this is incorrect. So position should be interchanged, isn't it? Should be interchanged. Supriya wants to carry out a fair test to find out how fast water can pass through equal quantity of 4 different types of soil. She sets up the experiment as shown in the given figure. She uses a stopwatch to measure the time taken by water to pass through each kind of soil, isn't it? So kind of soil P, time taken to pass for the whole water is 33 seconds. For Q, it is 23 seconds. For R type of soil, it is 45 seconds. And for S type of soil, it is 18 seconds, isn't it? So what could be S soil? S soil, the time taken to pass is the least. So S could be sandy soil, is it? But for so time taken to pass, it should be basically what type of soil is suitable to grow paddy. Paddy is basically paddy requires a lot of water, and basically for paddy it should percolate water. Sorry. So paddy doesn't grow in the sandy soils, but for paddy it requires a lot of water in the ground as well as on the top as well. So the correct amount of percolation should be this 23 seconds is the correct amount, isn't it? Because paddy requires lots and lots of water. So soil it should basically percolate water, and basically but it should not retain the water that much, isn't it? It should percolate the water in 23 seconds. The water gets percolate, and basically it should not retain that much of water. And that in the farms you do see the paddy fields where there is lots and lots of water, because they water the paddy because it gets percolated in the ground, because the paddy requires lots and lots of water. It definitely will not it won't be soil which has got the percolation rate of 33 or 45. 45 is the very hard soil which does not percolate any water, is it? Because time taken is 45 seconds. So this soil does not basically encourage percolation, but paddy requires percolation of water. Two persons X and Y are standing at a distance of 100 meters from a high wall, as shown in the given figure. When X gives a clap, the time interval between the two direct and reflected sounds heard by Y is zero point 0.2 s. If the speed of sound is 330 meters per second, then the distance d between X and Y is So what is the distance? So again, time required to cover the direct distance. What is the time required to cover the direct distance? D upon 330, distance upon velocity, because velocity is distance upon time, so time will be distance upon velocity, so D upon 330. Also d1 square. So what is d1? So d1 is this, from this point to this point, so d1 square will be Pythagoras theorem. D1 square will be 100 square plus d upon 2 whole square, isn't it? 100 square plus d upon 2 whole square, this d upon 2 whole square. So d1 is square root of 100 square is 10,000 plus d square upon 4. And indirect sound, so sound has to travel from here to the wall and from wall to y, is it? So indirect sound has to cover twice of d1, isn't it? So 2 times square root of 10,000 plus d1 upon d square upon 4. If you take 2 inside, it will become 4, because square root of 4 is 2. So 4 into 10,000 plus d square upon 4. So 4 into 10,000, which is 40,000, plus d square upon 4 into 4 is 4. 4 will get cancelled, plus d square. So time taken will be square root of 40,000 plus d square upon 330. Distance upon velocity 330, isn't it? Now this time is more than this time, isn't it? Because the time, this time the sound has to travel from x to wall and wall to y, isn't it? X to wall and wall to y. This time will be greater than the direct time. So time is square root of 40,000 plus d square upon 330 minus d upon 330 is the time difference is 0.2 seconds. The time difference is 0.2 seconds. So now 330 is the common, is the denominator, isn't it? So when 330 goes on the other side, it will become multiplication. So 0.2 into 330 is 66. So square root of 40,000 plus d square minus d is equal to 66, isn't it? So square root of 40,000 plus d square is equal to 66, and minus d goes here, it will plus d, 66 plus d. If you square both the sides, so 40,000 plus d square is equal to 66 square plus 2 into AB, 2 into 66 into D. 66 to the 132 plus D square. D square. D square will get cancelled. What is 66 square? It is 4356 plus 132D. So 132D will be 40,000 minus 4356, which is 35644. And D is 35644 upon 132 is roughly 270 meters. So D is 270 meters. Very good question. So you have to practice such questions. The tremors produce waves on the surface of the earth. These are called, again, solve only two seismic waves, isn't it? When the earthquake happens, there are the tremors, which are waves on the surface, are called as seismic waves, and the waves are recorded by the instrument called as seismograph. So seismic waves and seismograph. That's it. You don't need to solve anything else. Mrs. Miss Ruhi, a science teacher, arranged the given apparatus where each beaker contains two different metal strips of same size, fastened together and immersed in hydrochloric acid, isn't it? After 15 minutes, it was observed that the amount of Q ions are formed is greater than P. So Q is greater than P. Q is greater than P in beaker 1. And S ions formed is greater than R in beaker 2. So S is greater than R. S is greater than R. And R ions formed is greater than Q, is it? So R is greater than Q here. R is greater than Q. And T is greater than S. So T is greater than S. So R is greater than Q greater than P, and T is greater than S greater than R. So if you join these two equations, so T is greater than S greater than R, which is greater than Q and which is greater than P, isn't it? So which are the most reactive? T is the most reactive, and least reactive is P. P is the least reactive. Again, for to learn the reactivity series, you refer to this, which is from onlinemathlearning.com. A very good way to learn the reactivity series by heart. Question 49. Refer to the given dichotomous key. Identify P to T and select the correct statements regarding them. Okay, so what is P? P is, it lacks well organized nucleus, but it is unicellular, isn't it? It is unicellular. Q is, it has well organized nucleus. So Q has well organized nucleus, but is a parasite. So it's a parasite. Q is a parasite. R is basically it has well organized nucleus, but it is mixotropic. And S is it possesses chlorophyll and it is a multicellular. Multicellular has chlorophyll. And T is it lacks chlorophyll and it is multicellular. So sleeper animalcule, which is paramecium, it is unicellular and has well organized nucleus, isn't it? So P cannot be that because P is it has it says that it lacks well organized, but sleeper animalcule has got a well organized nucleus. R could be euglena, which possesses cilia and helps in movement. So euglena is algae. It is not. It doesn't possess cilia, isn't it? It doesn't have a cilia. Algae is normally stuck to a rock. Q could be plasmodium, which causes malaria, which is true, or it could be and amoeba, which causes amoebic dysentery in humans. Again, true. Isn't plasmodium and amoeba have well organized nucleus and they are parasites. Right? So C is true. S could be algae like uh, uh, Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas, which is a algae, where T is a scavenger like vulture or decomposer like Giardia. Now, Giardia is not a decomposer. So D is false. S could be algae, which is fine, but Giardia is not a decomposer. Giardia is a parasitic germ. It is a parasitic germ. So that's why D is incorrect. Identify P, Q, and R in the given flowchart and select the correct option regarding them. So again, humpback whale is not vulnerable. So here is the main gist is humpback whale is not vulnerable. So P and then extinct species which are extinct. Snow leopard is not extinct. Asian elephant is not extinct. So which are the two extinct? Passenger pigeon and seaming. They are extinct. Okay. Q is endangered. So which are endangered? Red panda is endangered. Lion-tailed macaque is endangered. So which are correct? But vulnerable, which are vulnerable? Humpback whale is not vulnerable. Humpback whale, it was driven to near extinction in the 1960s because of excessive hunting and the population reduced to 5,000. But now humpback whale is of least concern. It is of least concern because now there are population is 135,000. Okay, but what is vulnerable? The Nilgiri langur. It is a vulnerable species. So option D is the correct option. So with this, students, we have come to the end of the Class 8 NSO exam paper 2019 set A questions 26 to 50, and you may want to like and subscribe to my channel for the next video, which will be the next few days. Thank you for watching, students. Thank you. Bye bye.